Hi, this is Arthur, and this is a summary of the story of the Waterborne Poetry event released in Genshin Impact version 4.1. Mondstadt and Li Wei are organizing an event, so the traveler heads to Wangshu Inn. Once there, they meet with Hu Tao and Venti. The two are holding a poetry festival at the Stone Gate. They invite the traveler, and she agrees to go. They try to invite Xiao, but he declines. The traveler heads to the venue at Stone Gate, where they see Xingqiu, Changyun, Diona, Mika, and Noelle. Hu Tao and Venti then commence the poetry festival and ask everyone to write riddles and hang them on lanterns. They spend the day together, guessing at riddles and having fun. Afterwards, the traveler speaks to Changyun, who encountered a non-human entity in the morning. Changyun tried to exorcise it, but it escaped. The next day, they head back to the venue for the second day of festivities. The theme of this day is a form of poetry called pairing couplets. To inspire them on writing these couplets, participants are asked to go on a walk for inspiration. Venti also asks them to keep an eye out for the being Changyun spotted earlier. They split into two teams before leaving. On one team is the traveler, Changyun, Diona, with Xiao joining later. As they walk around, Diona demonstrates her ability, which is how any drink she makes tastes good. They later find a poem on a fallen leaf floating in the water. The poem is about someone meeting their true love. They decide to go upstream, write their own poem, and release it into the river in hopes the writer will see it. Meanwhile, Xingqiu, Noelle, and Mika form the other team. After having lunch, they meet a woman named Callie Roe. Callie Roe is also participating in the poetry festival. They head back to the venue together and meet with the other team. They then have fun making up couplets, with Zhang Li even showing up to judge them. Callie Roe then asks them if they've read the story The Heart of Clear Springs. In that story, a boy fell in love with a fairy. The fairy didn't understand human emotions, so she left. The boy eventually became an old man, and the fairy was never heard from again. Callie Roe asks the group if they think the fairy should go back and visit the old man, but the group gives varied answers. The next day, they return to the venue for the third and final day of festivities. The traveler, Mika, Changyun, and Diona all meet up, but the rest are missing or busy. They suspect that Callie Roe was the one who wrote the poems on the leaves, and they go look for her. They eventually find Callie Roe and discover she is an Oceanid. Callie Roe tells them about how she came from Fontaine and eventually settled in Springvale. Callie Roe is actually the spring fairy from Springvale and from the story The Heart of Clear Springs. The boy from the story is actually Old Man Finch. Finch fell in love with Callie Roe, but Callie Roe didn't understand human emotions then, so she left. Since then, she's learned more about humans and she's fallen in love with Finch. Now she's debating if she should meet him again. The group encourages her to see Finch again, and they all head over to Springvale. Once in Springvale, they introduce Finch to Callie Roe, and he recognizes her instantly. Callie Roe explains her past through a poem, and Finch understands. It is clear that despite the passing of time, the two are deeply in love. Callie Roe then gives Finch a water droplet condensed from her own power. Callie Roe explains that she cannot maintain her physical form indefinitely and will have to leave for an undetermined amount of time. However, with the water droplet, if Finch calls out for her, she will appear to him in his dreams. Callie Roe then thanks the group for bringing her to Finch and reveals she was the one who gave Diona the ability for any drink she makes to be delicious. Callie Roe then starts to lose her physical form, but not before giving Finch a kiss. They head back to the venue, where it seems likely Venti planned for all of this. Venti agrees to take them out for a meal, and they all agree to keep Callie Roe's secret. And that is the end of this quest in this video. If you've liked what you've seen here, please like, comment, and subscribe.